Marcus Rivera's hands were shaking so hard he could barely dial 911. Not from the motorcycle crash. Not from the dislocated shoulder. From the 9-year-old boy he'd just found locked in dog kennel number 7, weighing 43 pounds, covered in bruises, clinging to a dying pit bull like it was the only thing keeping him alive. The boy looked up with eyes that had stopped expecting rescue and whispered 5 words that would bring 2,500 bikers from rival gangs to one city. "Please don't take Atlas away." Marcus didn't know it yet, but in 3 weeks, those words would unite enemies who'd been killing each other for decades. Not for revenge, for something that would change everything. Before we go further, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you don't miss how this story unfolds. Comment below with what city you're watching from. I want to see how far this story travels. And if you believe one person can change everything, drop a like. You'll understand why by the end. Now, let's continue. Marcus couldn't move his left arm. The shoulder had popped out during the crash, hanging at an angle that made his stomach turn. But the crying pulled him forward anyway. One step, then another, through the busted chain-link gate of what used to be Desert Valley Animal Hospital. The building had been condemned 3 years ago. Boarded windows, foreclosure notice barely readable. The kind of place where hope went to die, and nobody bothered with a funeral. The kennels were out back. 12 metal cages arranged in 2 rows, rust eating through the bars, most of them empty. Except number 7. Marcus's good hand found his phone. Flashlight on. The beam cut through darkness and landed on something that made his breath stop. A boy. Maybe 9 years old. Skeletal, thin, bruises covering both arms, curled impossibly tight around a pit bull that looked half dead already. The dog's ribs showed like prison bars. Its eyes were filmy, unfocused, but it was positioned between the boy and the kennel door, protective, even in dying. "Jesus Christ," Marcus whispered. The boy's eyes opened. Empty. Flat. The look of someone who'd stopped believing in anything. "Hey." Marcus crouched down, biting back the pain from his shoulder. "My name's Marcus. I'm not going to hurt you." Nothing. Not even a blink. "I crashed my bike. Heard you crying. Can you tell me your name?" The boy's lips barely moved. "Tyler." "Tyler. Okay. How long have you been here?" No answer. Marcus tried again. "Where are your parents?" "Mom's gone." Tyler's voice was mechanical, dead. "Been gone 3 weeks." "What about your dad?" "Don't have a dad. Just Dr. Lawson. He's my stepdad." Tyler's fingers dug into the dog's fur. "He said I was bad. Said I needed to learn. Put me here 16 days ago." 16 days. Marcus's stomach turned. "And the dog?" "Atlas. Dr. Lawson was going to put him down. Said he was aggressive. But Atlas isn't mean. He's just scared." Tyler looked up, and for the first time, something flickered in those empty eyes. Fear. Real fear. "Please don't take Atlas. He's all I have. He shared his water with me. When I was cold, he kept me warm. Please." Marcus felt something crack open in his chest. He'd heard those words before. Different voice, different time. His sister, Elena, age 12, begging their social worker not to separate her from her stuffed rabbit, the only thing she had left from their mother. They'd taken it anyway, said it was unsanitary. Elena died in a foster home fire 6 months later. The rabbit burned with her. "Nobody's taking Atlas," Marcus said, his voice rough. "You're both coming with me." "You promise?" "I promise." Tyler tried to stand. His legs gave out. He collapsed against the cage bars, breathing hard. Marcus made a decision that would change everything. He pulled out his phone with his good hand, dialed 911, and then made a second call while waiting for the ambulance. "Wrench, it's Ghost. I need you at Desert Valley Animal Hospital. Now." "Marcus? It's 2 in the morning. What? There's a kid locked in a dog cage. He's been here over 2 weeks. And there's a dog that's going to die if we don't move fast." Silence. Then, "On my way." The ambulance arrived in 14 minutes. 2 paramedics, a woman named Sophia and a man named James, who took one look at Tyler and went pale. "Holy hell," Sophia breathed. "He won't leave without the dog," Marcus said. James moved toward the kennel. Tyler's hand shot out, grabbing the bars. "No, you can't take me without Atlas." "Son, you need a hospital. You're severely dehydrated, malnourished." "I don't care. If Atlas dies alone in this cage, I'm not going anywhere." Sophia exchanged a look with James. "We can't transport animals." "Then I'll bring him." Marcus stepped forward. "You take Tyler. I'll follow with the dog." "Sir, you need medical attention too. That shoulder is going to wait." Marcus's voice left no room for argument. "The boy wants his dog. The dog goes." Tyler looked at Marcus. Really looked. And something shifted in those dead eyes. Not hope. Not yet. But maybe the memory of what hope used to feel like. "You'll really bring him?" "I'll really bring him." "You won't let them put him to sleep?" "Not a chance." Tyler let them open the cage. When they lifted him onto the stretcher, he kept his eyes locked on Atlas. The dog whimpered, tried to stand, couldn't. Marcus waited until the ambulance pulled away. Then he carefully lifted Atlas. The dog weighed maybe 40 pounds, should have weighed 70. And carried him to where his motorcycle lay on its side. Wrench arrived in a pickup truck, took one look at Marcus's shoulder, the dog, and the crashed bike, and didn't ask questions. Just opened the passenger door. "Where to?" "Emergency vet on course. And call ahead. Tell them we're coming with a dog that's about 2 days from dead, and a man who can't pay, but will figure something out." The vet's name was Dr. Cassandra Williams. She met them at the door, took one look at Atlas, and started barking orders to her night staff. "Severe malnutrition, dehydration, possible organ damage. Get him on fluids, now." She turned to Marcus. "You the owner?" "No. Found him with a kid who's been locked in a cage for 16 days. The boy won't survive losing this dog." Dr. Williams's expression hardened. "Then we don't let the dog die. But I need to be straight with you. Surgery, round-the-clock care, medications, you're looking at 3,000 minimum, maybe more." 3,000. Marcus had maybe 800 in his checking account. Racing paid well during season, but right now, with his shoulder wrecked, he wouldn't be competing for months. "Do it," he said. "I'll figure out the money." "Sir." "Do it." Dr. Williams held his gaze, then nodded. "Okay, but get that shoulder looked at. You're no good to anyone if you pass out." Marcus drove himself to University Hospital. They relocated his shoulder. He didn't scream, but it was close. Wrapped it, loaded him with painkillers, and told him not to do anything stupid for 6 weeks. He went looking for Tyler instead. Room 347, Pediatric Wing. Marcus found him hooked to 3 IVs, heart monitor beeping steadily, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. "Hey." Tyler's head turned. "Where's Atlas?" "At the emergency vet. Dr. Williams is taking care of him. Says he's going to make it, but it'll take time." "You're lying." "I'm not." Everyone lies. Dr. Lawson said Mom just needed time away, but I heard them fighting that night. Heard her screaming, heard something break, and then she was gone. Morning came and Dr. Lawson was making pancakes like nothing happened. Tyler's voice stayed flat, factual. He said if I told anyone, I'd disappear too. Said nobody would ever come looking for a kid like me. Said I was nothing. Marcus pulled up a chair, ignoring the pain shooting through his shoulder. You hear me real clear, Tyler. You're not nothing. And people came looking. I found you. The paramedics came. The doctors came. And tomorrow, more people are going to come. Because that's what happens when a kid gets hurt. The whole world shows up. The whole world didn't show up for 3 weeks. The words hit like a fist. Because Tyler was right. 3 weeks in a cage, and nobody noticed. Nobody checked. Nobody cared. Just like nobody noticed when Elena's foster parents locked her in a basement. Just like nobody came when she screamed during the fire. Marcus's jaw tightened. Then I'm going to make sure everyone knows now. Everyone. And the man who did this, he's going to answer for it. A doctor entered, Dr. Rebecca Park, according to her badge. Early 40s, kind eyes, but there was steel underneath. Mr. Rivera, I need to speak with you outside. Marcus followed her into the hallway. She closed the door and turned to face him, expression grim. That boy has injuries spanning at least 8 months. Multiple healed fractures in both arms, 3 cracked ribs that set improperly, burns on his back consistent with cigarettes, ligature marks on his wrists and ankles, and the bruising patterns. She stopped, composed herself. Someone's been systematically torturing him. His stepfather, Dr. Richard Lawson. I know who Richard Lawson is. He's a prominent psychiatrist, sits on the hospital board. He locked a 9-year-old in a dog cage and left him to die. I believe you, but this is going to get complicated. Dr. Lawson has connections, money, power, and right now, legally, he's Tyler's guardian. Then we change that. It's not that simple. I've already called CPS. They're sending someone. When? Now. She's in the elevator. Marcus's phone buzzed. Text from Wrench. You need to see this. Dr. Lawson's history. It's worse than we thought. The elevator doors opened. A woman in a business suit stepped out. Perfectly styled hair, professional smile, clipboard in hand. She walked straight to Dr. Park. I'm Linda Ortega, CPS supervisor. I'm here about Tyler Chen. Dr. Park gestured toward Tyler's room. He's stable, malnourished, dehydrated, multiple injuries consistent with long-term abuse. Linda's smile didn't waver. I'll need to speak with him alone. I don't think, Doctor, I appreciate your concern, but this is protocol. I need to assess the situation without outside influence. She turned to Marcus. You found him? In a dog kennel, locked in, starving. And you are? Marcus Rivera. Relation to the child? None. Then I'll need you to step back. This is a family matter now. Something in her tone set off alarms. Too smooth, too rehearsed. Marcus glanced at his phone. Wrench's text had expanded. Dr. Lawson married 4 times in 12 years. 3 wives dead or institutionalized. Stepchildren from those marriages? All disappeared from system. And Linda Ortega was the caseworker on every single one. Marcus stepped between Linda and Tyler's door. He's not going anywhere until I know he's safe. Linda's smile turned cold. Mr. Rivera, I understand you're concerned, but interfering with CPS is a crime. Step aside or I'll call security. Call them. Linda's hand moved toward her phone. The door to Tyler's room opened. A nurse stepped out, face pale.
"The boy's asking for Marcus. He's agitated, heart rate spiking. Dr. Park says to get him now."
Marcus pushed past Linda. Inside, Tyler was sitting up, ripping at his IVs.
No, 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 no. She can't be here. She was there. That night. I saw her car. Tyler, calm down. She was there when Mom disappeared. Her car was outside. I saw it from my window.
Tyler's voice cracked, rising to a scream.
She helped him. She helped Dr. Lawson.
The monitors started shrieking. Dr. Park rushed in, followed by 2 nurses. Linda Ortega stood in the doorway, face perfectly composed.
"The child is clearly traumatized, delusional. I'll need to arrange immediate psychiatric evaluation."
Marcus turned slowly. "You're not touching him."
"I have legal authority."
"You have corruption, and I'm going to prove it." Linda's smile vanished. For just a second, something cold and dangerous flickered in her eyes.
"You have 24 hours to provide documentation of legal guardianship, Mr. Rivera. If you can't, Tyler Chen returns to his legal guardian, Dr. Richard Lawson. That's not a threat. That's the law."
She turned and walked away, heels clicking on linoleum. Marcus looked at Tyler, at Dr. Park, at the nurses trying to calm a 9-year-old who'd just recognized his mother's killer's accomplice. His phone buzzed again. Wrench. Found something else. Tyler's mom isn't dead. She's in a psychiatric facility 200 miles away, diagnosed with delusional disorder, committed by her husband, Dr. Richard Lawson. Marcus's hands started shaking, not from pain, from rage. 24 hours. They had 24 hours before the system handed Tyler back to the man who'd tortured him. Back to the network that had made 4 women disappear and erased their children. He stepped into the hallway, dialed a number he hadn't called in 3 years. "Carlos, it's Ghost." "Yeah, I know we're not speaking. I know what I said. But I need help. There's a kid, and the system's trying to feed him back to his abuser. I need people. A lot of people. Enough that they can't ignore us." Silence. Then Carlos Mendez, Marcus's biggest racing rival, the man he'd publicly humiliated after their last championship, spoke. "How many do you need?" "As many as you can get." "Give me 12 hours. Marcus hung up, looked back at Tyler's room, where a 9-year-old boy was fighting nurses because he'd finally found someone who believed him. Somewhere in the city, Dr. Richard Lawson was sleeping peacefully, confident the system he'd bought would deliver Tyler back into his hands. He had no idea what was coming, but in 12 hours, he would. Wrench arrived at the hospital at 4:47 a.m. with a laptop, 2 energy drinks, and an expression that said he'd been down a rabbit hole he couldn't climb out of. "Conference room, now!" He didn't wait for Marcus to respond, just started walking. Marcus followed, his shoulder throbbing despite the painkillers. They found an empty consultation room on the 3rd floor. Wrench kicked the door shut, opened his laptop, and turned the screen around. "Richard Lawson, age 46, psychiatrist, owns 3 practices across New Mexico, sits on 4 hospital boards, respected, connected, wealthy." Wrench clicked to another screen. "Also married 4 times in 12 years. Tyler said his mom disappeared 3 weeks ago. Amy Chen, wife number 4. But here is where it gets interesting." Another click. "Wife number 1, Catherine Rodriguez, married 2009, died 2010. Accidental overdose. Lawson inherited her house and $200,000 in life insurance." Marcus's stomach tightened. "Wife number 2, Jennifer Park, married 2012. Currently in Mountain View Psychiatric Hospital, diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. Lawson has power of attorney. Sold everything she owned." Jesus.
Wife number 3, Diane Foster, married 2015. Fell down the stairs, traumatic brain injury, died 6 weeks later. Lawson collected $350,000. Wrench looked up. And Amy Chen, married October 2017, reported missing January 28, 2018. Except she's not missing. He pulled up medical records, a photograph of a woman in a hospital bed, face swollen, tubes everywhere, monitors displaying vitals that hovered just above flatline. She's been in Mountain View Psychiatric for 3 weeks, admitted as Jane Doe, severe head trauma. They found her on the side of Highway 40. No ID, no witnesses. She's been in a coma since admission. Wrench paused. Someone beat her nearly to death and dumped her where she'd be found, but not identified. The stepchildren. Marcus's voice came out rough. Where are they? Wrench's fingers moved across the keyboard. 4 faces appeared. Catherine's son, Miguel, age 7 when his mother died, placed in foster care, transferred 3 times in 8 months, then disappeared from the system completely. No school records after 2011. No medical records. Nothing. Another face. Jennifer's daughter, Emma, age 9, foster care, flagged twice for signs of abuse, reports buried. Last known location 2014. Nothing after that. Another. Diane's twins, Sophia and Isabella, age 6, foster care, separated despite protocols. Sophia died in a house fire at her placement, ruled accidental. Isabella transferred to a group home, then Wrench's jaw tightened. Found dead in the desert 8 months later. Exposure, they said. Marcus couldn't breathe. 4 women, 4 stepchildren, 3 dead, 1 missing, 1 currently in a cage we found by accident. Wrench leaned forward, and every single case was handled by the same CPS supervisor, Linda Ortega. She was here tonight, tried to take Tyler. Of course she did, because she's been cleaning up Lawson's messes for over a decade. Wrench pulled up bank records. Ortega receives monthly payments from a shell company. That company traces back to Lawson. $5,000 a month for 8 years. Who else is getting paid? Judge Patricia Blackwood, Family Court. She's ruled on every custody case involving Lawson. Sealed records, limited investigations. $40,000 over 6 years. Another name appeared. Sheriff Tom Grady closed Amy's missing person case in 48 hours. No investigation. $60,000 over 5 years. Another. David Marsh, attorney, handles Lawson's estate planning, power of attorney documents, property transfers after his wives die or get committed. $90,000 over 8 years. Marcus stared at the screen. This is a network. This is a hunting operation. Wrench's voice shook. Lawson finds vulnerable single mothers, marries them fast, isolates them, kills them or has them committed, takes their money, their property, everything. The kids. He stopped. The kids are loose ends. Ortega makes them disappear into foster care where nobody asks questions. If they cause problems, they have accidents. Tyler's mom is still alive. For now. But Lawson has medical power of attorney. He can pull the plug anytime he wants. Marcus's phone buzzed. Text from Carlos. Got 50 riders confirmed. More coming. Where do we meet? Another buzz. Different number. This is Jake Reyes, Desert Riders MC. Heard you need backup for a kid. We're in. 40 bikes. Another. Tommy Chen here, Veteran Racing League. 30 of us ready. Another.
Wrench watched the messages flood in.
What did you do?
Called in every favor I'm owed, and some I'm not. Marcus typed back addresses, times. We need more than bodies, though. We need evidence that'll hold up in court. Hard evidence.
Tyler said he saw Ortega's car the night his mom disappeared.
A 9-year-old's word against a CPS supervisor? They'll call him traumatized, unreliable. Marcus thought fast. We need documentation, financial records, communication between them, something that proves conspiracy.
I can get into Ortega's email. Give me 4 hours.
You have 2. Legal hearings at 9 a.m. Lawson's attorney already filed for emergency custody. Wrench's fingers were already flying across the keyboard. Then you better keep Tyler safe until I find what we need. Marcus returned to Tyler's room. Dr. Park was inside, talking quietly with the boy. She looked up when Marcus entered.
He won't sleep. Keeps asking about the dog, about his mother, about what happens next.
She lowered her voice.
Security's been asking questions about why CPS left without the child, about your authority here.
I don't have authority.
Then you need to get some, fast, because Lawson's attorney called 20 minutes ago. They're coming at 8 a.m. with a court order and police escort.
Marcus checked his watch. 5:14 a.m., less than 3 hours. Tyler was sitting up in bed, staring at his hands. Marcus pulled up a chair.
Hey. She helped him.
Tyler's voice was empty again.
That woman, Linda, she was there the night Mom disappeared. I saw her car from my window. Black Mercedes, dent in the front bumper. She and Dr. Lawson were arguing about something. Then Mom started screaming.
You remember what they were arguing about? Dr. Lawson said, she found the files, she knows about the others. Linda said, then we do what we always do, make her go away. Then Mom was yelling about calling the police. Dr. Lawson hit her. I heard it. She went quiet. And then, Tyler stopped. I hid under my bed, stayed there all night. When morning came, Dr. Lawson was making eggs like nothing happened. Said Mom needed time to think. Said she'd be back. But you knew she wasn't coming back.
I knew he killed her.
Marcus's phone rang. Wrench. I'm in Ortega's email. Marcus, you need to see this. Send it. 30 seconds later, his phone pinged. Email thread between Linda Ortega and Richard Lawson. Date stamped January 27th, 2018. The night Amy disappeared. Ortega. She's asking too many questions. Found the insurance policies, the medical records. She's threatening to go to FBI. Lawson. Then we handle it. Tonight, same as before. Ortega. The boy saw Catherine's file. He knows. Lawson. The boy's 9. Who's going to believe him? Ortega. We need to clean this up. All of it. Lawson. Transfer confirmed. $10,000. Get it done. Marcus's hands shook as he read. He looked up at Tyler. What files did you see? Tyler reached under his hospital gown and pulled out a necklace. Silver chain, small medallion. He handed it to Marcus. Mom gave this to me 2 days before she disappeared. Said if anything happened to her, this would tell me the truth. Tyler's finger traced the engraving on the back. Coordinates. She said, follow the stars home, baby. Follow them, and you'll find me. Marcus turned the medallion over. Numbers etched into silver. 35.0844 degrees north. 106.6504 degrees west. He pulled up GPS on his phone. The coordinates pointed to a location 15 miles outside Albuquerque. Storage facility off Highway 40. Wrench, you still got access to property records?
Yeah.
Why? Search for any rentals under Amy Chen's name, storage units specifically. Keys clicking. Got one. Stowaway Storage, Unit 247. Rented November 2017. Paid through the end of this year. That's it. Marcus stood. That's where she hid the evidence. Dr. Park stepped forward. You can't leave. Tyler needs... I'll be back before they come for him. Marcus looked at Tyler. Your mom left you a trail. I'm going to follow it. And whatever's at the end, we're using it to bury Lawson. Tyler grabbed his arm. What if it's not enough? What if they take me anyway? Marcus crouched down, met the boy's eyes. Then 200 bikers are going to stand between you and them. And if that's not enough, 2,000 will. Because when you save one kid, you save them all. Every rider out there, they're someone's son, someone's brother, someone's father. They all know what it's like when the system fails. And they're done watching it happen. He was out the door before Dr. Park could argue. Stowaway storage looked like every other facility. Chain link, security cameras that probably didn't work, units arranged in rows like metal tombs. Marcus pulled up at 6:23 a.m. The gate was locked. He went over the fence. Unit 247 was in the back corner. Combination lock. Marcus tried Tyler's birthday. Nothing. Amy's birthday. Nothing. Then he tried the date she married Lawson. The lock clicked open. Inside, boxes, files, documents stacked floor to ceiling. Marcus pulled out his phone, turned on the flashlight, and started reading. Life insurance policies, 5 of them, all with Lawson as beneficiary. All for women who'd died or disappeared. Medical records, Jennifer Park's psychiatric evaluation, signed by Lawson himself. Diagnosis, paranoid schizophrenia. Recommended treatment, permanent institutionalization. Marcus found a second evaluation from a different doctor, dated 2 weeks earlier. Diagnosis, severe depression, responsive to treatment. Good prognosis. Lawson had overridden it, committed her himself. More files. Financial records showing property transfers, houses sold weeks after wives died, bank accounts emptied, everything flowing into Lawson's accounts. And at the bottom of the last box, a tablet. Marcus powered it on. Video file. Date stamped January 25th, 2018. 3 days before Amy disappeared. He pressed play. Amy Chen appeared on screen, sitting in this same storage unit. Eyes red from crying, but her voice was steady. If you're watching this, I'm dead. Or I've been committed like Jennifer. Or I've disappeared like Catherine. She took a breath. My name is Amy Chen. I married Dr. Richard Lawson 4 months ago. I thought I'd found someone to help me raise my son after my diagnosis, multiple sclerosis. I was scared, alone. He seemed perfect. She held up documents. But I found these in his office. Insurance policies on his ex-wives, medical records he falsified, bank transfers. He married Catherine Rodriguez in 2009. She died 11 months later. He collected $200,000. He married Jennifer Park in 2012. Within a year, he had her committed, took power of attorney, sold everything she owned. He married Diane Foster in 2015. She died in a fall he caused. I have proof. Amy's voice cracked. And the children. Miguel, Emma, Sophia, Isabella. I found photos. They didn't just disappear into foster care. They died. All of them. Accidents, they said. But it's a pattern. Every child from every marriage, gone within 2 years. She looked directly at the camera. My son, Tyler. He's 9 years old. He's smart, kind, brave. And if you're watching this,
Richard is trying to kill him, too. Or that woman Linda Ortega is making him disappear. Tears streamed down her face. Please. Please don't let my baby become another statistic. Don't let him disappear. His life matters. He matters. The video ended.
Marcus stood in the storage unit, hands shaking, staring at a dead woman's final testimony. Except she wasn't dead. His phone rang. Wrench. Where are you? Storage unit. Wrench, I found everything. Video testimony, documents, financial records, enough to bury Lawson and everyone protecting him. Good, because we've got a problem. Big one. Marcus's stomach dropped. What? Judge Blackwood moved the hearing up. It's at 7 a.m. now. 1 hour. And she issued an order. Any interference will result in immediate arrest of all parties involved, including you. They're trying to grab Tyler before the bikers even show up. Where's Tyler now? Dr. Park moved him. Wouldn't tell me where. Said it's safer if nobody knows. Marcus was already running for his truck. Call Carlos. Tell him to get everyone to the courthouse now. Forget the staging area. We need bodies there in 30 minutes. Marcus, there's more. I got into Sheriff Grady's files. They're planning something. I saw an email to Lawson. Problem solved by 9 a.m. Boy back in your care. Loose ends contained. Loose ends? You, me, Dr. Park, anyone who knows the truth. Wrench's voice was grim. They're not just taking Tyler. They're cleaning house. Marcus floored the accelerator. 15 miles to the courthouse. Morning traffic starting. He wove between cars, ignoring horns, lights, everything except the road ahead. His phone buzzed constantly. Messages from riders all over the state. Desert Riders MC, 60 bikes heading your way. Veteran Racing League, 45 confirmed. Carlos here, I got the banditos, 80 riders. Never thought I'd say that. This is Maria Santos, FBI. Got your messages, en route. Don't do anything stupid before I get there. FBI. Wrench had copied federal agents on the evidence. Marcus hit the courthouse at 6:52 a.m. The street was already filling with motorcycles. Hundreds of them. Riders in leather, patches from clubs that normally didn't speak to each other. All standing silent, arms crossed, watching the courthouse entrance. Carlos Mendez stepped out of the crowd. Marcus hadn't seen him in 3 years, not since their last race when Marcus had accused him of cheating, cost him a championship, ruined his reputation. They stared at each other. You were right, Carlos said quietly. About the cheating. My crew chief was fixing my bike. I didn't know until after. Should have spoken up. Didn't. That's on me. Carlos, kid in a cage changes things. Makes old grudges look pretty damn stupid. Carlos extended his hand. So where is he? Where's Tyler? I don't know. Dr. Park hid him. Smart lady. Carlos gestured to the growing crowd. We're at 300. More coming. What's the play? We wait for the FBI. We document everything. We make sure every camera in this city sees what happens when they try to hand a tortured kid back to his abuser. A black Mercedes pulled up. Linda Ortega stepped out, saw the bikers. Her confident expression flickered. She walked toward the courthouse. The riders didn't move, didn't speak, just watched her climb the steps. Another car, Sheriff Tom Grady. He saw the motorcycles and reached for his radio. Then a third car. Marcus's breath stopped. Dr. Richard Lawson emerged. Tailored suit, perfect hair, calm smile. He looked at the bikers like they were an inconvenience, not a threat. His eyes found Marcus. They stared at each other across 50 feet of asphalt. Lawson's smile widened. He mouthed 2 words. Game over. Then the courthouse doors opened. Judge Patricia Blackwood appeared, flanked by 2 bailiffs. Emergency hearing for minor child Tyler Chen. Petitioner Dr. Richard Lawson. Respondent. She looked around. Where's the child? Linda Ortega stepped forward. Your Honor, the child is being illegally detained by— The child is under medical care. Dr. Park's voice cut through. She emerged from a side entrance, Tyler beside her, and he's here voluntarily. Tyler walks down the courthouse steps, every eye locked on him. This tiny 9-year-old, bruises still visible on his arms, hospital bracelet on his wrist. He stopped 10 feet from Dr. Lawson. You said nobody would ever come looking for me. Tyler's voice was small but clear. You said I was nothing. He turned, looked at the 300 riders. You were wrong. Lawson's smile vanished. Judge Blackwood's voice was ice. Inside, now. This hearing begins in 5 minutes. Anyone who interferes will be arrested. Marcus started forward. Carlos grabbed his arm. Wait, look. More vehicles arriving. Vans, cameras, news crews. Someone had called the media. Tyler looked back at Marcus one more time, terror in his eyes. But also something else. Hope. The courthouse doors closed, and Marcus realized they'd just walked into a rigged game where the house always won. Unless someone flipped the table. The courtroom was smaller than Marcus expected. 20 rows of wooden benches, half of them filled with journalists who'd gotten word something big was happening. Judge Patricia Blackwood sat behind her bench like a queen on a throne, gray hair pulled back tight, eyes cold and calculating. Dr. Richard Lawson sat at the plaintiff's table with his attorney, David Marsh. Both men looked relaxed, confident. They'd done this before. Tyler sat with Dr. Park at the defense table. No attorney. Just a pediatrician who'd volunteered to stay because nobody else would. Marcus tried to enter. A bailiff blocked him. Family only. I'm the one who found him. Not family. Outside. The doors closed in his face. Through the small window, Marcus watched Judge Blackwood call the hearing to order. Carlos appeared beside him. We've got 500 now. More coming every minute. Word spreading. Marcus's phone buzzed. Text from Wrench. Sent Amy's video to every news outlet in the state. Someone's going to play it. Inside, Judge Blackwood was speaking. Marcus couldn't hear through the door, but he could see Tyler shrinking in his chair, Dr. Park's hand on his shoulder. A journalist burst out of the courtroom, phone to her ear. Marcus caught her arm. What's happening? The judge won't allow the evidence. Says it was obtained illegally. The video, the documents, the financial records, all inadmissible. She pulled away. This hearing's a joke. The kid's going back to that monster. Marcus's vision tunneled. How long? Judge is giving final statements now. Maybe 5 minutes? 5 minutes. Tyler had 5 minutes before the system handed him back to the man who'd locked him in a cage. Marcus's phone exploded with texts. Desert Riders, 120 bikes here. Veteran League, 90 total. Iron Horsemen just arrived, 140 strong. Bandidos bringing more, 200 confirmed. The roar of engines filled the street. Not hundreds. Thousands. Motorcycles pouring in from every direction, lining every block around the courthouse. News vans multiplied. CNN, NBC, ABC, local stations, national stations. Someone had turned this into a media event. The courtroom doors opened. Tyler walked out between 2 bailiffs. His face was blank, empty. The same look Marcus had seen in the kennel. Dr. Lawson followed, smiling. Linda Ortega beside him. Judge Blackwood's voice carried from inside. The minor child is remanded to the custody of his legal guardian, Dr. Richard Lawson, effective immediately. Marcus moved forward. The bailiff's hands went to their weapons.
Don't.
Carlos grabbed Marcus's jacket.
Not like this.
Tyler stopped walking, stood in the courthouse hallway, surrounded by people who decided his fate without caring what he wanted. Then he spoke. Quiet at first, then louder.
No.
Everyone stopped. No? Judge Blackwood appeared in the doorway. Young man, this hearing is over. The decision has been made.
You said judges protect children. My mom told me that. She said the law keeps us safe.
Tyler's voice grew stronger.
But you're helping the man who hurt her. You're helping him hurt me.
That's enough.
No, it's not enough. Because I counted.
Tyler turned, looked at the windows. Through the glass, hundreds of bikers visible.
There are 2,000 people outside. They came because one man asked them to help a kid they never met. You're one person helping a man who locks children in cages.
He stepped toward Judge Blackwood.
Who do you think people will remember?
The judge's face went white. Bailiff, remove this child. They reached for Tyler. Marcus was already moving, so was Carlos. So were 20 other riders who'd pushed their way inside. Touch him and we've got a problem, Marcus said. Sheriff Grady's voice boomed from the entrance. Everyone outside, now, or you're all under arrest. Nobody moved. Grady spoke into his radio. This is Sheriff Grady.
I need riot control at the courthouse, immediately. We have an illegal assembly refusing to disperse.
Through the windows, Marcus watched as police vehicles arrived. 12 units. Officers in tactical gear emerging. The crowd of bikers had swelled to over 1,000, maybe 1,500. This was about to turn into a war. Then something happened nobody expected. The riot police captain, a man named Rodriguez, walked toward the line of bikers, helmet on, shield raised, his unit behind him. He stopped 10 feet from Carlos Mendez. The two men stared at each other. Rodriguez reached up, removed his helmet, and spoke loud enough for everyone to hear. My son's name was David, 10 years old, foster care system. Died in a house that burned down while his foster parents were at a casino. CPS said it was an accident, sealed the records. His voice cracked. I know what this is. I know what they do. He turned to his unit.
Anyone here wants to arrest people protecting a kid? You do it without me.
He walked to the bikers' side, stood with them. One by one, his entire unit followed. Sheriff Grady's face went purple. You're all fired, every single one of you. Then fire us, Rodriguez said. But we're not moving. The journalists caught everything, cameras rolling. This was no longer a custody hearing. This was a standoff. Marcus's phone rang. Wrench. They're trying to scrub the evidence. Lawson's office is being cleared right now. Files, computers, everything. If we don't move fast, it disappears. Where are you? Lawson's main office, 3rd Street. Marcus, they're burning documents. In the parking lot. Right now. Marcus grabbed Tyler's arm. Where's your mom's tablet? The one from the storage unit. In my truck. We need it. Now. He pushed through the crowd, Tyler beside him, Dr. Park following. They reached Marcus's truck. He grabbed the tablet, turned it on, pulled up Amy's video. A journalist saw it. What's that? Proof. Video testimony from Tyler's mother 3 days before Dr. Lawson tried to kill her. Can I see? Marcus handed it over. The journalist watched. Her face went pale. We need to broadcast this. Right now. Do it. She ran to her news van. 2 minutes later, Amy Chen's face appeared on every screen, every phone, every device within 5 blocks.
My name is Amy Chen. If you're watching this, I'm dead. Or I've been committed like Jennifer. Or I've disappeared like Catherine.
The crowd went silent, everyone watching. Tyler stood frozen, staring at his mother speaking from beyond what he'd thought was death.
He married Catherine Rodriguez in 2009. She died 11 months later. He married Jennifer Park in 2012. Within a year, he had her committed. He married Diane Foster in 2015. She died in a fall he caused. And the children: Miguel, Emma, Sophia, Isabella.
They didn't just disappear. They died. Judge Blackwood tried to push back inside. Reporters blocked her. Your Honor, can you comment on why this evidence wasn't admissible? Did you know about Dr. Lawson's previous wives? How much money have you received from Richard Lawson? Dr. Lawson moved toward a black sedan. The wall of bikers shifted, blocked every exit. He was trapped. Linda Ortega pulled out her phone. Marcus was faster. He grabbed it from her hand. Who were you calling? Your contact at the psychiatric hospital? Telling them to pull the plug on Amy before anyone realizes she's alive? Ortega's face went sheet white.
She's alive?
Tyler's voice broke.
My mom's alive?
Marcus crouched down. Your mom's in a hospital 200 miles from here, in a coma. But she's fighting. She's been fighting for 3 weeks. Tyler's legs gave out. Dr. Park caught him.
I thought... He said she was gone. He said...
He lied. About everything. But she left you that necklace.
Those coordinates. She left you a trail so you could find the truth.
A black SUV pulled up. FBI logos on the sides. Agent Maria Santos stepped out, flanked by 6 agents in tactical gear. She walked straight to Dr. Lawson.
Dr. Richard Lawson, you're under arrest for attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, insurance fraud, wire fraud, and racketeering.
She nodded to Linda Ortega.
Linda Ortega, you're under arrest as an accessory to murder and conspiracy to obstruct justice.
Ortega broke, started screaming.
I was just following orders. He paid me. I did what he told me to do. It was all him.
Santos turned to Judge Blackwood.
Your Honor, you're wanted for questioning regarding your financial relationship with the defendant.
I have immunity.
You have nothing. And federal agents are executing warrants on your home, office, and bank accounts as we speak.
Santos looked at Sheriff Grady.
You're next.
Grady ran. Made it 3 steps before 6 bikers tackled him. Rodriguez cuffed him personally. Marcus's phone rang. Unknown number. He answered.
Mr. Rivera? This is Dr. Sarah Mitchell, Mountain View Psychiatric. We have a patient here, Jane Doe, admitted 3 weeks ago with severe head trauma. Someone just called claiming to be her husband, requesting we terminate life support. But we pulled her records based on the video we just saw. Her fingerprints match Amy Chen. And sir?
The doctor's voice shook.
She's waking up. Brain activity spiked 20 minutes ago. She opened her eyes. She's asking for her son.
Marcus couldn't speak. He looked at Tyler, this 9-year-old who'd survived 16 days in a cage because he wouldn't abandon a dying dog. Tyler, your mom's awake. She's asking for you. The boy's face crumpled. Years of held-back tears finally breaking through.
I want to see her. Please, I need to see her.
Dr. Park was already pulling out her keys.
I'll drive, right now.
Santos stepped forward. I'll provide escort. Federal. No one's stopping you. They moved toward Dr. Park's car. Dr. Lawson, in handcuffs, watched them, his expression calm. Too calm. He caught Marcus's eye and smiled. "You think this ends anything? You think saving one kid matters?" His voice was soft, meant only for Marcus. "There are others. So many others. And you'll never find them all. The system's bigger than me, bigger than Ortega, bigger than all of you." Santos yanked him toward the FBI vehicle, but the words hung in the air. Because Lawson was right. 4 wives, 4 stepchildren. Miguel still missing. Emma still missing. And how many others in that decade-long network? A detective approached, older man, face lined with guilt. "My name's James Cordero, Albuquerque PD. I buried 3 reports about Lawson. He had dirt on me, old stuff. Threatened to destroy my career." His voice broke. "But I'm done. I've got copies. Every report I was told to bury. Every case flagged by CPS that Ortega shut down. Every suspicious death Grady closed without investigation." He handed Marcus a thick folder. 47 cases, going back 12 years. Not just Lawson's kids, others. Foster placements that went wrong, kids who disappeared, families that got torn apart for profit. It's all here. Another voice, a woman pushing through the crowd. "I'm Jennifer Watts. I worked under Linda Ortega for 6 years. She told me if I ever spoke up, my kids would be taken." Tears streamed down her face. "I watched her bury cases. Watched her place children with families she knew were dangerous. I have names, dates, everything." More people coming forward. A nurse from Mountain View Psychiatric, an attorney who'd been blackmailed into filing false documents, a social worker who'd been threatened into silence. The dam broke. Everyone who'd been forced to participate, who'd stayed quiet out of fear, suddenly found courage because 1,500 bikers had shown up for one kid. Carlos stood beside Marcus, watching it unfold. "You know what's about to happen, right? This goes national. Every news network's here. Every corrupt official in every city is about to have their worst nightmare. People who actually give a damn." The sound of engines grew louder. More motorcycles arriving. The count passed 2,000, then 2,500. Riders from 6 states, clubs that had been enemies, veterans groups, racing leagues, regular people who just happened to ride and decided this mattered more than anything else they had planned today. Tyler stood in the center of it all, this tiny, broken kid who'd stopped believing anyone cared, surrounded by proof that he was wrong. Dr. Park's car was ready, FBI escort in place. Tyler started to climb in, then stopped. He turned to face the crowd. 2,500 people looking back. "Thank you." His voice was small, but the microphones caught it. Every news crew broadcasting live. "You came for me."
Nobody ever came for me before. And you didn't even know me. He looked at Marcus. "You told me the whole world would show up. You were right." They drove away, escorted by federal agents, headed to a hospital 200 miles north where a mother was waking up from a coma, asking for her son. Marcus watched them go, then turned to face the crowd of bikers, the journalists, the cameras capturing everything. Dr. Lawson said there are others, kids still missing, still trapped, still waiting for someone to care. His voice carried across the silent crowd. "Who's ready to find them?" 2,500 hands went up. Agent Santos stepped forward. "FBI's opening a task force. We need volunteers, people willing to dig through records, follow leads, track down missing children. This isn't one case. This is a network that's been operating for over a decade." "We're in," Carlos said immediately. "All of us," Rodriguez added, his former riot police unit behind him. Wrench appeared with his laptop. "I've already started.
found 6 more foster placements tied to Ortega's financial records. Kids placed with families that paid her kickbacks. If the pattern holds, they're either dead or hidden, Marcus finished. Santos nodded. Then we better move fast. The courthouse steps had become a command center. Journalists interviewing officials who were breaking ranks, bikers coordinating search teams, FBI agents taking statements, and somewhere in a psychiatric hospital, a mother and son were about to be reunited after 3 weeks of hell. But Marcus couldn't shake Lawson's words. There are others. The system's bigger than me. How many other Richards Lawsons were out there? How many other Linda Ortegas? How many judges taking bribes, sheriffs closing cases, attorneys filing false documents? How many children were sitting in cages right now, thinking nobody would ever come? His phone rang. Dr. Park. Marcus? Tyler just saw his mother.
She recognized him immediately. First word she said was his name. A pause. They're both crying. But Marcus, Amy's asking about the other children, the ones from Lawson's previous marriages. She says there's something we don't know. Something worse.
Worse than 4 dead women and missing kids?
She says one of the children isn't missing. She says one of them is working for Lawson, helping him find new targets. A teenager now. Someone who survived his first family and became... Dr. Park's voice dropped to a whisper. Marcus, one of the victims became a recruiter. That's how he's been finding vulnerable single mothers. Someone who knows exactly what to look for. Marcus's blood went cold. Which child? Amy doesn't know, but she saw emails. Someone signing as M, setting up meetings, introducing Lawson to support groups for sick parents. Tyler's mom met Lawson at a grief counseling session for people with chronic illness. Someone sent him there. Miguel, Catherine's son, 7 years old when his mother died. That would make him, Marcus did the math, 16 now. A teenager who'd spent 9 years in the system, watching his mother's killer walk free. Maybe decided joining him was safer than fighting him. Or maybe didn't have a choice. Santos was already on her phone, pulling records, tracing digital footprints. If there's a teenage accomplice, we'll find them. She looked at Marcus. But if this kid's been trafficked, abused, forced into this, we bring them in alive. Understood? They're a victim too. Marcus nodded, but his mind was racing. How many families had Miguel helped Lawson target? How many mothers had he befriended, earned trust from, fed information about? How many other Tylers were out there because a broken kid decided survival meant becoming the monster? The sun was setting over Albuquerque. 2,500 bikers still filled the streets, news crews still broadcasting. The story was global now. But Marcus knew the real work was just beginning. Finding Tyler was an accident, a motorcycle crash at the right time, a biological need that pulled him off the highway. Blind luck. The others wouldn't be luck. They'd have to hunt, dig, fight through sealed records and corrupt officials and a system designed to protect itself instead of children. Carlos appeared beside him. You look like hell. Lawson's got a partner, one of his previous victims, a teenager, been helping him for years. Carlos whistled low. So we're not just fighting one predator, we're fighting a network with inside knowledge. Yeah. Then I guess we better get organized. Carlos pulled out his phone. I know people, racers, mechanics, veterans who are good at finding things. We'll put together teams, create a foundation, make this permanent. A foundation? Atlas Foundation, after Tyler's dog.
Because that dog didn't abandon him when he was dying, and we're not abandoning any kid ever again. Marcus looked at his old rival, the man he'd publicly destroyed 3 years ago, who'd shown up anyway when it mattered. Why'd you really come, Carlos? We hate each other. Carlos was quiet for a long moment. My sister had a kid, 8 years old, foster system, died in a placement while I was racing in Europe, too busy chasing trophies to notice she was asking for help. He met Marcus's eyes. I can't fix that, but I can make sure Tyler doesn't become another statistic. And maybe, if we do this right, my nephew didn't die for nothing. They stood together on the courthouse steps as darkness fell, and the sound of 2,500 engines filled the night. Somewhere, Tyler was holding his mother's hand. Somewhere, Miguel was watching the news, realizing his world was about to collapse. And somewhere, other children were waiting for someone to care enough to look. The hunt was just beginning. The FBI set up operations in a vacant office building 3 blocks from the courthouse. By midnight, they'd converted it into a command center with whiteboards covering every wall, computers on folding tables, and 50 volunteers working phones, databases, anything that might lead to the missing children. Marcus hadn't slept. Neither had Wrench. They'd been cross-referencing Lawson's financial records with Ortega's case files for 6 hours straight. Got something. Wrench's voice was hoarse. Payment to a Gmail account. Monthly deposits for 3 years. Always the same amount. $500. Account registered to M. Rodriguez. Miguel, Catherine's son. Agent Santos leaned over Wrench's shoulder. Can you trace IP addresses? See where he's been logging in? Already did. Multiple locations. Libraries mostly. Public Wi-Fi. Kid's smart. Covering his tracks. Wrench pulled up a map. Red dots scattered across Albuquerque. But there's a pattern. 3 locations he hits more than others. Coffee shop on Central, library downtown, and, he zoomed in, youth shelter on 4th Street. Santos grabbed her radio. I need units at 847 4th Street, youth homeless shelter. Target is Miguel Rodriguez, 16 years old, Hispanic male. Approach with caution. He's a victim, not a suspect. Repeat, victim, not suspect. Marcus was already heading for the door. Carlos caught up with him. What's the play? We find him before he runs. Kid's been watching the news, knows we're coming. He'll bolt. They reached the youth shelter in 11 minutes. FBI already there. Santos met them at the entrance. Shelter director says Miguel checked in 4 months ago. Keeps to himself. Works part-time at a grocery store. Nobody suspected anything. He here now? Room 23, 2nd floor. My agents are in position, but I want to talk to him first. If we go in hard, we lose any chance of cooperation. Marcus followed Santos up the stairs. Narrow hallway, doors on both sides, the smell of institutional cleaning products, and desperation. They stopped outside room 23. Santos knocked. Miguel? My name is Maria Santos. I'm with the FBI. I need to talk to you about Dr. Richard Lawson. Silence. Miguel, we know you've been helping him. We know you didn't have a choice. We are not here to arrest you. We are here to help. The door opened. A teenage boy stood there, hollow-eyed, too thin, looking far older than 16. He stared at Santos, then at Marcus. Your ghost. The racer. His voice was flat. You found Tyler. I did. He's okay? He's with his mother. They're both safe. Miguel's expression didn't change. Good. That's good. He stepped back. You want to come in? Ask your questions? I'll tell you everything.
Not like I've got anything left to lose. They entered. The room was tiny, single bed, desk, one window with bars. Miguel sat on the bed, hands folded, waiting. Santos pulled up the desk chair.
Marcus stood by the door. "How old were you when your mother died?" Santos asked.
7. Dr. Lawson married her when I was 6. She was sick, lupus. He seemed nice at first, helpful. Then things changed.
Miguel's voice stayed mechanical.
He started isolating her, controlling her money, hitting her when I wasn't around. She tried to leave. That's when the accident happened.
Bathtub drowning.
He held her under. I was in the next room, heard her struggling. By the time I got there, she wasn't moving.
Miguel looked up.
I told the police. They didn't believe me. 7-year-old kid traumatized by his mother's death, they said, making up stories to cope with grief.
Marcus's hands clenched. Foster care was worse. 7 homes in 3 years. The last one. Miguel stopped. Let's just say I learned real fast that nobody gives a damn about kids like me. When Lawson found me at a group home when I was 10, I thought he'd come to kill me. Make sure I could never testify, but he didn't. No, he offered me a deal. Help him find new targets, keep my mouth shut, and he'd make sure I had money, a place to live, stayed out of the worst placements. Refuse, and he'd make me disappear like the others. Santos leaned forward. Emma, Jennifer's daughter. Where is she? Miguel's jaw tightened. Dead. House fire when she was 12. It wasn't an accident. Lawson paid someone to set it. She'd started asking questions, remembering things. Became a liability. Sophia and Isabella? Sophia died in a different fire. Isabella. Miguel's voice cracked for the first time. I tried to warn her. Tried to tell her to stop fighting, just survive. She wouldn't listen. They found her body in the desert. Exposure, they said. But I know. Lawson's people took her there. The room went silent. How many? Marcus's voice came out rough. How many single mothers did you help him target? 12 over 6 years. Amy was number 12. Miguel looked at his hands. I'd find women at support groups, grief counseling, chronic illness meetings, single moms desperate for help. I'd befriend them, gain their trust, mention this great psychiatrist who helped me after my mom died, give them Lawson's card. And then? Then he'd do what he always does, marry them fast, isolate them, take everything, kill them or commit them. And their kids. Miguel stopped, tears finally coming. Their kids would disappear. Just like me. Just like Emma and Sophia and Isabella. The system would eat them alive and nobody would care. Santos's expression was stone. Where are the children from the 12 families? I don't know all of them. Lawson kept that separate. Didn't want me knowing too much. But I know 3 are in Ortega's network, placed with families that pay her. Families that... He couldn't finish. That abuse them. Miguel nodded. Marcus stepped forward. You're going to give us names, locations, everything you know. And then you're going to testify. Put Lawson away for the rest of his life. I'll testify, give you everything. Miguel met Marcus's eyes. But don't pretend I'm a victim. I knew what I was doing. I fed 12 women to a monster. Their blood's on my hands too. You were a kid. I stopped being a kid the day I watched my mother drown and nobody believed me. Miguel stood. So yeah, I'll help you find the others. But don't tell me I didn't have a choice. I made my choice every single time I handed Lawson another target. I chose survival over their lives. Santos made calls. Within an hour, they had 3 addresses. 3 children placed through Ortega's network with families that paid kickbacks. The first was in Rio Rancho, 8-year-old girl named Sofia Martinez, placed with a family 2 years ago. No school records for the past 6 months, no medical records. The FBI hit the house at 4 a.m. Marcus and Carlos went with them. The foster parents claimed Sofia ran away, had no idea where she'd gone.
But the basement told a different story. Chains bolted to the wall, bucket in the corner, the smell of human waste. They found Sofia locked in a storage shed behind the house. 40 pounds. Should have weighed 70. Same dead eyes Tyler had. She wouldn't speak. Not a word. Just stared. Marcus crouched down outside the shed. Didn't try to touch her. Just spoke quietly. My name's Marcus. I found a boy named Tyler a few days ago. He was locked in a dog cage, starving. Thought nobody would ever come for him. But people came. 2,000 people. And now Tyler's with his mom. Safe. Sofia blinked. We're going to get you out of here. Take you somewhere safe. And the people who hurt you? They're going to jail. For a long time. Sofia's lips moved, barely a whisper. Promise? I promise. They carried her out. EMTs waiting. The foster parents were already in handcuffs, screaming about their rights, about how they'd done nothing wrong. Rodriguez, the former riot police captain, got in their faces. You locked a child in a shed like an animal. You starved her, beat her, and you're worried about your rights? His voice was deadly quiet. You better pray you get to jail before these people decide your rights don't matter anymore. He gestured to the 50 bikers surrounding the property. The second address was in Albuquerque proper. 10-year-old boy named Carlos Diaz, placed 18 months ago. They found him working in a mechanic shop. 12-hour days, no pay, sleeping on the garage floor. His foster father ran the shop, pocketed the money Carlos earned, beat him when he complained. Carlos, the boy, not Mendez, saw the FBI badges and ran. Made it 2 blocks before Marcus's motorcycle cut him off. The boy put up his fists, ready to fight. I'm not going back. You can't make me. Kid, we're not taking you back. We're getting you out. Everybody says that. Then they take you to the next place and it's worse. Marcus killed his engine, took off his helmet. You know who I am? Carlos squinted. You're that racer. Ghost something. Yeah, and 3 days ago I found a kid locked in a dog cage. System failed him. Failed a lot of kids. But we're fixing it. Right now. Today. And you're part of that. I don't believe you. Fair enough. So here's what we're going to do. You come with us. We take you to a hospital, get you checked out. And if at any point you want to leave, you leave. Nobody stops you. But give us a chance. One chance. Carlos looked at Marcus, at the FBI agents hanging back, at the bikers forming a protective circle. The dog. The one in the cage with the kid. What happened to it? Dog's alive, recovering. The boy wouldn't leave without him, so we made sure the dog came too. Carlos's fists lowered. You saved the dog? Both of them. And we're trying to save you too, if you'll let us. The boy's shoulders sagged. He was crying before he hit the ground. The third address was wrong. Empty house. Neighbors said the family moved 6 months ago. No forwarding address. No records. The child was gone. Wrench ran the names through missing persons databases. Nothing. No Amber Alert. No police report. The kid had simply vanished.
That's 3 families from Lawson's targets, Santos said. 2 recovered, 1 missing. Miguel said there were 12 families total. We've accounted for 3. That leaves 9 more children unaccounted for.
How do we find them?
We dig. Pull every case file Ortega handled, every placement she approved, every sealed record. We tear this system apart until we find every single child.
It took 4 weeks. 4 weeks of round-the-clock work. Volunteers from across the country, bikers, lawyers, social workers who'd been silenced, detectives who'd been forced to close cases. Everyone coming together. They found 6 more children alive. 3 in foster care placements, 2 in group homes, 1 working in forced labor at a farm 300 miles from Albuquerque. All of them broken. All of them convinced nobody cared. All of them wrong. 2 children were found dead, buried in unmarked graves. DNA matched dental records from kids who'd disappeared from the system years ago. 1 child was still missing, 7-year-old girl named Sarah Martinez, last seen 18 months ago. Despite everything they'd found, Sarah remained a ghost. The trials started in May. Dr. Richard Lawson faced 15 felony counts. The prosecution had Amy's video testimony, Miguel's cooperation, financial records, communication logs, and 9 children willing to testify. The defense argued entrapment, illegal search and seizure, contaminated evidence. None of it stuck. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. Guilty on all counts. Judge Patricia Blackwood was removed from the bench, disbarred, facing her own charges. She tried to negotiate. Santos didn't give her the satisfaction. You sold children for money. There's no deal here. Linda Ortega broke completely. Gave up everyone in the network. Named judges in 3 states, sheriffs in 5 counties, attorneys who'd been falsifying documents for a decade. The system didn't just crack. It shattered. Sheriff Tom Grady got 15 years. Attorney David Marsh got 18. Judge Blackwood got 20. Dr. Richard Lawson got 9 consecutive life sentences. No parole. Miguel testified at every trial, faced the people he'd helped destroy, took responsibility for his part. When it was over, Santos approached him in the courthouse hallway. You cooperated fully, helped us find 9 children. The DA's willing to recommend juvenile services, counseling, a chance to rebuild. Miguel shook his head. I don't deserve that. Maybe not. But the kids you helped save, they deserve to know you tried to make it right. Tyler was there with his mother. Amy was still weak, still recovering, but she was alive, awake, waiting. Tyler walked up to Miguel. You gave my mom's information to Lawson. You helped him target her. Miguel couldn't look at him. Yeah. And then you told the FBI where to find the others. You helped save Sofia and Carlos and the rest. Doesn't make up for what I did. No, it doesn't. Tyler paused. But my mom said something. She said nobody's just one thing. You did terrible things. You also did brave things. Both are true. Miguel finally looked up. What am I supposed to do with that? Live with it. Get better. Help more kids. Make the rest of your life mean something. Tyler extended his hand. That's what my mom would say. So that's what I'm saying. Miguel stared at the hand, took it. I don't know how. None of us do. We just try. The Atlas Foundation officially launched in July. Carlos Mendez as president, Marcus as operations director, Wrench running tech, Rodriguez heading security.
300 volunteers. 50 bikes available for rapid response. Legal team on retainer. Connections to FBI, state police, social services across 6 states. Their mission was simple: find the missing, protect the found, change the system. In the first year, they helped 47 children, investigated suspicious placements, provided legal support for families fighting CPS, funded therapy, medical care, whatever was needed. Tyler became the face of it, not because they wanted a poster child, but because he refused to hide. He was 10 now, speaking at events, telling his story, looking audiences in the eye and saying, "I was nothing, a kid in a cage, and 2,000 strangers decided I mattered. Now I'm here to tell you, every kid matters. Every single one." The crowds always stood. Amy recovered enough to work part-time. She and Tyler lived in a small house funded by the foundation. Atlas the pit bull always nearby. The dog had gained back 30 pounds, got certified as a therapy animal, visited other kids in the system. Tyler would walk into foster homes, Atlas beside him, and kids who wouldn't talk to adults would open up to the boy who'd survived the same hell they were living through. 6 states passed Tyler's law, mandatory cross-referencing of custody cases with abuse databases, third-party oversight of family court judges, whistleblower protections for CPS workers, annual audits of psychiatric commitments. It wasn't perfect. The system was too big, too broken for one law to fix. But it was a start. Marcus retired from professional racing, used his savings to fund the foundation, spent his days chasing leads, finding kids, showing up when nobody else would. His sister Elena had died because the system failed. He couldn't save her. But he could save the next one, and the next one, and the next one. That's what he told himself when the work got hard, when they found children too late, when the network seemed endless. You save who you can. You fight like hell. You never stop. Miguel served 2 years in juvenile detention, spent 3 more in intensive therapy. When he turned 21, the foundation hired him. His job was simple: find the recruiters. Other kids who'd been forced or manipulated into feeding victims to predators. Kids who thought they had no choice. Show them they were wrong. Tyler turned 13. Straight-A student, volunteering at the foundation every weekend, training to be an EMT. Already talking about becoming a social worker, changing the system from inside. Amy told Marcus once, "He's going to save more kids than we ever could, because he knows exactly what they're feeling. He's been there, survived it. And he's proof that broken doesn't mean finished." But Sarah Martinez was still missing. 2 years after Tyler's rescue, 47 children found, countless lives changed. But one 7-year-old girl remained a ghost. Until Marcus's phone rang at 2:34 a.m. on a Tuesday in September. "Mr. Rivera, this is Officer Kim Harris, State Police. We got a call from a trucker. Says he saw a young girl at a rest stop off Interstate 40. Looked wrong, scared, kept looking over her shoulder. When he approached, she ran. He followed at a distance. Girl's hiding in an abandoned building. We're heading there now, but..." She paused. "Trucker says she matches the description of Sarah Martinez. He saw her picture on the foundation website. Could be her." Marcus was already grabbing his keys. "Where?" She gave him the address, 60 miles outside Albuquerque. He called Tyler. "Don't even think about saying no. If it's Sarah, she'll be terrified. She needs to see another kid who survived, someone who proves she's not alone." Tyler was dressed and waiting when Marcus pulled up. They reached the rest stop in 47 minutes. Police already there. Officer Harris met them. "Building's clear except for one room upstairs. Door's locked from inside. We can break it down, but..." Let us try first. Tyler walked to the door, knocked gently. Sarah? My name's Tyler. I'm 9. No, wait, I'm 13 now. Sorry. Time's weird. He laughed nervously. Anyway, I was locked in a dog cage for 16 days. Thought I was going to die there. But this guy Marcus found me, and my mom, and a whole bunch of people who care. I know you're scared. I was scared too. Still am sometimes. But you're not alone. Not anymore. Silence. I brought my dog. His name's Atlas. He was dying when we met. Now he's the healthiest, happiest dog you'll ever see. Because people showed up. They didn't give up. And we're not giving up on you. The lock clicked. The door opened. A small girl stood there, 7 years old but looking younger. Filthy, thin. Eyes that had seen things no child should see. She looked at Tyler, at Marcus, at Atlas wagging his tail. Is this real? Or am I going to wake up back? She couldn't finish. Tyler knelt down. It's real, and you're never going back. I promise. Sarah took one step forward, then another. Then she collapsed into Tyler's arms, sobbing. They found her foster family 3 hours later. Couple in their 50s running a trafficking operation disguised as a legitimate placement. 9 children recovered from that house alone. Sarah had been there for 18 months, locked in a basement. Used for... The details made Marcus want to burn the world down. But Sarah was alive. That's what he focused on. She was alive, and now she was safe. The couple got life sentences. No parole. Protective custody in prison because inmates didn't tolerate child abusers. Sarah spent 3 months in intensive care. Physical therapy, psychological counseling, learning to trust again. Tyler visited every day, brought Atlas, told her stories, showed her it was possible to survive. When she was ready, Amy and Tyler officially fostered her. The foundation helped with legal fees, medical expenses, everything needed. Sarah didn't speak for 6 months. Then one day, during therapy, she looked at Tyler and said, I want to help. Find the others. Tell them someone's coming. Tyler smiled. Then that's what we'll do. The Atlas Foundation added a youth division. Tyler, Sarah, Carlos, Sophia, all the kids they'd rescued who wanted to help rescue others. They became the voices, the proof that broken doesn't mean finished. And across the country, in cages and basements and locked rooms, children heard those voices and held on just a little longer. Because someone was coming. Someone always came now. 5 years changed everything and nothing. Marcus was 43 now, gray showing at his temples, old racing injuries that ached when rain came. He'd walked away from professional motorcycling completely, sold his trophies, used the money to expand the foundation. Tyler was 18, high school graduate, EMT certified, already accepted to University of New Mexico for social work. But he'd deferred enrollment for a year because the foundation needed him more than he needed a degree right now. The Atlas Foundation operated out of a real office building now, 30 full-time staff, 200 trained volunteers across 8 states. They'd helped 312 children in 5 years, found 97 still in dangerous placements, reunited 43 with biological families who'd been fighting to get them back, changed 6 state laws, got 14 corrupt officials imprisoned, exposed 5 more trafficking networks. But there were always more. Marcus sat at his desk at 11:47 p.m., reviewing case files, when his phone rang. Unknown number. Atlas Foundation, this is Marcus. Heavy breathing, then a young voice, male, terrified.
Is this real? The foundation? You really help kids?
We really help kids. What's your name?
Danny, I'm at a place. There's other kids here. Bad things happening. I got away, but I can't leave them.
Marcus was already grabbing his keys. Where are you, Danny?
Old warehouses near the rail yard, east of Albuquerque. Building 7.
The kid's voice cracked.
There's 6 of us. They lock us up at night. Use us during the day. They're making us.
I understand. You don't have to say it. How old are you?
14.
How long have you been there?
8 months. But there's a girl, Emma. She's been here 2 years, and...
Danny stopped.
There's bodies. In the basement. Kids who tried to run and didn't make it.
Marcus's blood went cold. Danny, listen to me very carefully. Are there guards?
2. They're asleep right now. That's how I got out. But they wake up at midnight, do rounds.
Marcus checked his watch. 11:51 p.m. 9 minutes. I'm 20 minutes away. Can you get back inside without them knowing?
I think so, but what if you don't come? What if this is a trick? What if...
Danny, I'm coming, and I'm bringing help, but I need you to trust me for 9 more minutes. Can you do that? Silence. Then...
Okay.
Marcus hung up, dialed Tyler. We've got a situation. Possible trafficking operation. Multiple victims, East Rail Yard. I need you now. On my way. Next call. Agent Santos, now heading the FBI's Child Exploitation Task Force.
Marcus, it's midnight.
6 kids locked in a warehouse, possible bodies in the basement. I need tactical in 15 minutes.
Location.
He gave it. Santos didn't hesitate.
Rolling now. Don't go in alone.
Not planning to. But Marcus was already in his truck, headed east. Because Danny's voice had held the same desperate hope Tyler's had 5 years ago. And Marcus remembered what 9 minutes of waiting felt like when you thought nobody was coming. Tyler pulled up beside him at a red light 3 blocks from the rail yard. Motorcycle, leather jacket, medical kit strapped to the back. 18 years old and looking like a warrior. They didn't speak. Just nodded and rode together into the industrial wasteland where hope went to die. Building 7 was exactly what Danny described. Abandoned warehouse, broken windows, 1 light visible on the 2nd floor. Marcus killed his headlights 2 blocks out. Tyler did the same. They approached on foot. 12:04 a.m. The guards would be awake now, doing rounds. Through a broken window, Marcus saw movement. 2 men, armed, walking the perimeter inside. His phone vibrated. Text from Danny.
They're coming. I'm hiding. Hurry.
Tyler touched Marcus's arm, pointed. Side door, partially open. A kid's face visible in the darkness. Danny. They moved, fast and silent, reached the door. Danny's eyes were huge, terrified.
The others are upstairs. Locked room.
I know where the key is, but... An engine roared. Headlights swept the building. Someone was arriving. Back door, Tyler whispered. Now. They moved through the warehouse. The place smelled like decay and fear. Makeshift rooms created with chain-link fencing, blankets on concrete floors, buckets for toilets. This was where children were kept like animals. The stairs were metal, would make noise, but they could hear voices downstairs, the guards arguing with whoever just arrived. Where the hell is the Rodriguez kid? He was locked in. I don't know. He was there an hour ago. Find him, now, before the buyer shows up. Buyer? They were selling children. Marcus looked at Tyler, saw his own rage reflected back. Danny led them to the 2nd floor.
A door with a padlock. He pulled a key from his pocket. I stole it last week. Been planning to run, but couldn't leave the others. The lock clicked open. Inside, 5 children, ages 7 to 12. 3 girls, 2 boys.
All staring with the same empty eyes Tyler had worn 5 years ago. "We're getting you out," Tyler said quietly. "All of you. Right now."
They'll kill us,
One of the girls whispered. Emma, probably.
They killed Michael when he tried. Made us watch.
"They're not killing anyone else." Tyler crouched down. "My name's Tyler Chen. 5 years ago, I was locked in a dog cage, starving, beaten. Thought I was going to die there. But people came, and now I'm here to return the favor." Sirens in the distance, FBI arriving, footsteps on the stairs. The guards had heard the lock. Marcus positioned himself between the children and the door. "Tyler, get them to the window. Fire escape on the east side." "What about you?" "I'll hold them here." "Marcus, go!" Tyler grabbed Danny, started herding the other kids toward the window. Emma wouldn't move.
There's more. In the basement. The bodies, but she started crying. Not all bodies. Some are still alive.
They put them down there when they get too weak to work. Marcus's stomach turned. How many? 3, maybe 4. I don't know. The door burst open. 2 men with guns. Marcus didn't think, just moved. Tackled the first one, fist connecting with jaw. The man went down. The second raised his weapon. Tyler threw his medical kit, hit the guard's arm. Gun went off, bullet hitting ceiling. Then Tyler was on him, fighting like his life depended on it. Because it did. Because all their lives did. More sirens. Closer now. FBI must be at the perimeter. Marcus pinned his guard, grabbed the gun, pointed it at the second one. "On the ground, now!" The man hesitated. Tyler grabbed a pipe from the corner, held it like a weapon. "You heard him." The guard went down, hands behind his head. FBI burst through the door, Santos leading. She took in the scene, the children, Marcus holding a gun. "Clear!" she shouted. "Suspects in custody! Get medical up here now!" EMTs flooded in. Tyler helps them with the children, talking quietly, keeping them calm. Santos grabbed Marcus's arm. "Danny said there are more in the basement." Emma said 3 or 4, still alive. They found 6. 6 children locked in the basement. No light, no heat, barely any water. 3 unconscious, 2 delirious. 1 curled in the corner, rocking, humming to herself. Tyler went down with the EMTs, started triage. 18 years old and working like a seasoned professional, because this wasn't his first rescue anymore. It was his 47th. The children were transported, the guards arrested. Santos's team started processing the scene. But Marcus noticed something. A filing cabinet in the corner, unlocked. Inside, documents, client lists, payment records, photographs, and names he recognized. He pulled out his phone, called Wrench. "I need you at the East Rail Yard, now. I think we just found another network." Wrench arrived in 10 minutes, took one look at the files, and went pale.
"Marcus, these names. Half of them were in Lawson's network. The people we thought we shut down 5 years ago."
He scrolled through his laptop.
"But look, different shell companies, different routing numbers. It's not the same network. It's a new one using the old infrastructure."
They rebuilt.
They evolved, learned from Lawson's mistakes, made it harder to trace.
Wrench's jaw tightened. 12 locations across 3 states. This warehouse was just one cell. Santos listened, then made calls.
Within an hour, FBI coordinated raids across New Mexico, Arizona, and Colorado. They found 38 children, 38 kids locked in warehouses, basements, storage facilities, all part of the same operation, all funneled through corrupt foster systems, group homes, and CPS workers who took bribes. The scale was staggering. Marcus sat on the curb outside the warehouse as dawn broke, watching ambulances come and go.
Tyler sat beside him, blood on his knuckles, exhaustion in every line of his body.
"We shut down Lawson's network 5 years ago," Marcus said quietly. "Thought we won, but they just built a new one. So we shut this one down too, and the next one, and the next one." Tyler looked at him. "That's the job, right? You told me once that saving one kid saves them all, but you didn't tell me we'd have to save them over and over again." "Would you have done anything differently?" Tyler thought about it. "No, because 38 kids are going to hospitals right now instead of being sold. Emma and Danny and the others are going to survive. That matters, even if there's another network tomorrow." A news van pulled up, then another. By the time the sun fully rose, 12 crews were there. Santos gave a press conference, detailed the operation, named the people arrested, showed photographs of the recovered children with their faces blurred.
This trafficking network operated for at least 3 years. It used the same infrastructure exposed during the Lawson investigation 5 years ago. The people who built this learned from previous mistakes. They thought they were untouchable. She paused. They were wrong. A reporter shouted a question. "Agent Santos, sources say the Atlas Foundation was instrumental in this rescue. Is that accurate?" A 14-year-old boy named Danny escaped tonight and called the Atlas Foundation hotline. He led us to 11 other children. Without his courage, and without the Foundation's rapid response, we might not have found them in time. Another reporter. "Is this connected to the rescue of Tyler Chen 5 years ago?" Santos stepped aside. "Tyler Chen is here. He can answer that himself." Tyler stood, walked to the microphones. 18 years old, covered in dust and blood, looking every bit like someone who'd just fought a war. 5 years ago, Marcus Rivera found me locked in a dog cage. I weighed 43 pounds, had bruises everywhere. My mom was in a coma. My stepfather tried to kill us both. And I thought nobody cared. Thought I was nothing. His voice was steady, clear. Then 2,000 people showed up. Bikers from rival clubs, racers who hated each other, strangers who decided I mattered. They stood between me and the system that failed me. And they changed everything. Tyler looked directly at the cameras. Tonight, Danny did the same thing I did. He asked for help. And we came. Just like people came for me. Because that's what we do now. We show up, every single time, for every single kid. He held up his phone, showed the Atlas Foundation logo. "This number is on our website. If you're a kid in trouble, call it. Someone will answer. Someone will come. I promise you that. Because I was you. And now I'm here. And I'm not letting anyone else feel as alone as I felt." The reporters erupted with questions. Tyler ignored them, walked back to Marcus. "You okay?" Marcus asked. "No, but I will be." Tyler looked at the warehouse. "How many more places like this are out there?" "Too many." "Then we have work to do." They drove back to the Foundation office as the sun climbed higher. The phones were already ringing, calls from across the country, people offering help, money, resources, volunteers. Tyler's speech had gone viral within minutes. Carlos met them at the door. "We've got 300 messages in the last hour. 50 of them are from kids asking for help,
Actual emergencies. Get Santos on the phone. We need FBI support for this volume. Already did. She's sending agents to help triage. Carlos looked at Tyler. Kid, you just became the most famous survivor in America. You ready for that? No, but someone has to be. They worked for 16 hours straight, coordinating with FBI, state police, local authority, following up on every credible tip, every child who called saying they needed help. By the end of the day, they'd opened investigations into 23 new situations, found 8 children in immediate danger, started the process of exposing 3 more trafficking networks. Marcus finally collapsed in his office chair at midnight. Tyler was still at a computer, cross-referencing case files. You need sleep, Marcus said. So do you. I'm twice your age. I've earned the right to be exhausted. Tyler smiled, tired but real. You know what I was thinking about? That night you found me, I asked you not to take Atlas, because he was all I had, and you promised nobody was dying that night. I remember. You kept that promise. Atlas is sleeping in my room right now. 10 years old, still protecting me. Tyler looked up. How many promises have we kept in 5 years? 312. One for every kid we helped. You remember all of them? Every single one. Tyler stood, walked to the window. The city lights stretched out below them. Millions of people. Thousands of children. Some safe, some not. My mom said something yesterday. She said she's grateful for what happened to us. Not grateful it happened, but grateful for what we became because of it. He turned back. Is that crazy? No, it's survival. Turning pain into purpose. I keep thinking about the kids we couldn't save. The ones we found too late. The ones still missing. How do you live with that? Marcus joined him at the window. You remember the ones you did save? Emma's in foster care with a family that actually gives a damn. Danny's getting therapy, starting to heal. Sarah's thriving with your mom. Sophia, Carlos, all the others. They're alive because you didn't give up. Because you didn't give up? No. Because 2,000 people decided one kid mattered, and then kept deciding it, over and over, for 5 years. Marcus put his hand on Tyler's shoulder. You were that kid. Now you're the person who shows up. Both are true. Tyler's phone rang. He answered. Atlas Foundation, this is Tyler. Pause. Okay, stay calm. We're coming. Where are you? He grabbed his jacket. Marcus was already heading for the door. What is it? 16-year-old in Phoenix. Says she escaped from a trafficking situation. 3 other girls still there. She's hiding in a gas station bathroom. They were in Marcus's truck in 30 seconds. 2 hours to Phoenix. They made it in 90 minutes. The girl's name was Marie. She led them to a house in a suburb that looked perfectly normal. Nice lawn, 2-car garage, the kind of place where neighbors would never suspect. FBI hit the house at 4 a.m., found 3 girls, ages 13, 15, 17. Found evidence of 12 more who'd been there and moved. The couple who ran it were arrested, their computers seized. The digital trail led to 7 more locations. By dawn, 14 children were in protective custody, and the network, the new one that thought it learned from Lawson's mistakes, started to collapse. Santos called Marcus at noon. The couple in Phoenix started talking, trying to cut deals. They're giving up everyone. We're looking at arrests in 6 states. This is bigger than Lawson, bigger than anything we've seen. How many kids? We're estimating over 200 passed through this network in 3 years. We've accounted for 83. The rest... She didn't finish. The rest were dead, missing, or sold to people who'd never bring them back. Marcus thought about Miguel, about how one kid forced into helping a monster had sparked the destruction of an entire network. About how Danny, escaping and making one phone call, had just done the same thing. About how Tyler, refusing to give up on a dying dog, had started a movement that saved hundreds. Small moments, small choices, ripples that became tidal waves. The Foundation's phones didn't stop ringing for 3 weeks. National coverage, international coverage. Donations flooded in, volunteers from 40 states. They opened chapters in Arizona, Colorado, Texas, California, hired 50 more staff, trained 500 new volunteers, and kept answering the phones. Because somewhere, right now, a kid was locked in a cage, a basement, a warehouse, thinking nobody would come, thinking they didn't matter, thinking hope was just a word people used before they abandoned you. Tyler made it his mission to prove them wrong, every time. He turned down his university acceptance permanently, started working full-time with the Foundation, became the voice for kids who'd lost theirs. Marcus watched him speak at a congressional hearing about foster care reform. 18 years old, testifying in front of senators, telling them exactly how the system failed and exactly how to fix it. Watched him comfort a 7-year-old girl recovered from a basement, using the same words Marcus had used with him 5 years ago. You're not alone. Not anymore. Watched him become the person Marcus wished had existed when Elena died. The cycle was broken. Not everywhere, not completely. Evil still existed. Networks still operated. Children still suffered. But now there was Atlas Foundation, and 2,000 bikers who still showed up when called, and an 18-year-old who refused to let anyone feel as abandoned as he'd once felt. Marcus stood at his office window one night, watching Tyler coordinate a rescue operation in Denver. The kid was brilliant, natural leader, born for this work. Carlos appeared beside him. You thinking about retiring? Thinking about the fact that Tyler doesn't need me anymore. Wrong. He'll always need you. But he doesn't need you to save him. Now he needs you to stand beside him while he saves others. Carlos smiled. That's better anyway. Yeah, it is. Marcus's phone rang. Wrench. Got something. Anonymous tip about a situation in Santa Fe. Dog kennel operation. Reports of a child locked in one of the cages. Marcus's heart stopped. 5 years later. Full circle. He looked at Tyler. We've got a call. Santa Fe. Kid in a kennel. Tyler grabbed his jacket without hesitation. Let's go. They rode through the night, just like before. Except this time, Marcus wasn't the only one who could save someone. This time, Tyler was fully equipped to be someone's Marcus. They found the kennel. Found the child. 7-year-old boy, locked in cage number 7, curled around a dying golden retriever. Tyler approached, knelt down, spoke quietly. Hey, my name's Tyler. I know you're scared. I know you think nobody's coming. But you're wrong. I was you 5 years ago, locked in a cage just like this, and someone came for me. Now I'm here for you. The boy looked up. Same empty eyes, same desperate hope. You promise? I promise, and I never break promises. Tyler extended his hand. Come on, let's get you and your dog out of here. The boy took his hand. Marcus watched from the doorway as Tyler led him out, wrapped him in a jacket, called for medical support, checked on the dog, did everything Marcus had done for him 5 years ago. The cycle wasn't just broken, it was reversed. Tyler had become the person who showed up, who kept promises, who proved that broken doesn't mean finished. And somewhere in the darkness, another child was holding on, waiting, believing that maybe, just maybe, someone would come. They always did now, because Tyler made sure of it. And that was the only promise that ever really mattered.